Right now, thousands of immigrants across the United States are living their lives completely unaware that they could be just one mistake away from losing everything they worked so hard to build. The green card, the naturalization ceremony, the oath they swore with tears in their eyes, all of it could be taken away. And the most terrifying part? Most of them have no idea it can even happen. Welcome back to America Immigration Update, the channel that gives you the real information the government is not going to hand you on a silver platter. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because what we cover on this channel could literally protect your future in this country. Today, we are talking about something that almost nobody in the immigrant community wants to think about, but everybody needs to hear. We are talking about the 5 reasons the United States government can take away your citizenship. Not your visa, not your green card, your actual citizenship. The thing you thought was permanent. The thing you believed was yours forever once you had it in your hands. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because the 5th reason on this list is the one that catches the most people off guard. And if you leave before we get there, you could be putting yourself at serious risk without even knowing it. Let us start from the beginning. Most people who go through the naturalization process believe that once they become a U.S. citizen, it is done. It is final. Nobody can touch it. And for the most part, that belief is correct. U.S. citizenship is one of the most protected legal statuses in the world, but it is not completely untouchable. There are specific situations, specific actions, and specific decisions that can trigger a process that strips a person of their citizenship entirely. This process is real. It has happened to real people. And it is happening more and more as the government increases its scrutiny of naturalized citizens. So let us get into it. Let us talk about the first reason you could lose your United States citizenship. And this one is far more common than most people realize. The first reason is lying or committing fraud during the citizenship application process. Now, when most people hear this, they think to themselves, well, I did not lie, so I am fine. But here is where it gets complicated. Here is where people fall into a trap they never saw coming. The government does not just look at what you said during your naturalization interview. They look all the way back. They look at your original visa application. They look at your green card application. They look at every single form you have ever submitted to any immigration office in the United States. And if they find anything at all, that was false, incomplete, or misleading, they can use that as grounds to cancel your citizenship through a process called denaturalization. Denaturalization is not a new thing. It has existed for decades. But what is new is how aggressively it is being pursued. In recent years, the government has launched major efforts to identify naturalized citizens who may have hidden important information during their immigration journey. We are talking about people who did not disclose a criminal record, people who used a different name or a different identity at some point, people who entered the country on a visa and did not fully disclose all the facts of their situation. Some of these people became citizens years ago. Some of them have been living as American citizens for a decade or more, and they are now facing the terrifying reality of having that citizenship canceled. The legal term for what they allegedly committed is called material misrepresentation. That means hiding or lying about something that would have mattered to the decision. If the government can prove that you hid something important, something that would have changed the outcome of your application, they can move to denaturalize you. And once that process begins, the burden falls heavily on you to defend yourself. If you or anyone you know ever provided incomplete information on any immigration form, even years ago, it is not too late to speak with an immigration attorney. Do not wait for the government to come knocking. Be proactive. Protect yourself now. The second reason you could lose your United States citizenship is something most people assume only applies to soldiers or military personnel. But listen carefully, because it is broader than you think. The second reason is joining or serving in a foreign military that is engaged in hostilities against the United States. Under U.S. law, if a naturalized citizen voluntarily serves in the armed forces of a foreign country that is at war with or fighting against the United States, that person can lose their citizenship. This is especially true if that person serves as a commissioned or non-commissioned officer. But even enlisted service in certain foreign militaries can trigger citizenship loss depending on the circumstances. Now, here is where this gets real for the immigrant community. There are people living in the United States who still have strong ties to their home countries. Some of them have family members who are in the military back home. Some of them come from countries that are in active conflict or political tension with the United States. And some of them, under emotional pressure or a sense of national loyalty, have considered or even taken steps to serve in those militaries. If you have ever served in a foreign military, even before you became a U.S. citizen, that history could potentially be examined as part of your naturalization record, especially if you did not fully disclose it. And if you serve in a foreign military after becoming a U.S. citizen, depending on the country and the circumstances, you could be putting your citizenship directly at risk. This is not about where you are from. This is not about your culture or your pride in your home country. This is about the legal reality of what certain actions mean under U.S. law. Know the rules. Protect your status. The third reason is one that surprises people the most when they first hear it. It involves working for a foreign government. Specifically, if a U.S. citizen accepts a position with a foreign government that requires them to take an oath of allegiance to that foreign country, that action can be interpreted as a voluntary renunciation of U.S. citizenship. Think about what that means for a moment. If you take a government job in another country, and that job requires you to swear loyalty to that government, the United States may look at that and say, you have chosen to put your allegiance somewhere else. And under the law, that can be grounds for citizenship loss. Now, not every job with a foreign government triggers this. The law is nuanced. But the key factors are whether the position requires a formal oath of allegiance to a foreign state, and whether the person took that oath voluntarily, understanding the implications. If both of those things are true, the U.S. government has the legal authority to move toward stripping citizenship. This matters for immigrants who have family, business, or political connections in their home countries. It matters for people who have been offered prestigious positions in foreign governments and are weighing their options. Before you accept any position with a foreign government, especially one that involves a formal oath or a high-ranking role, you need to speak with an immigration attorney. Do not assume it is safe just because it feels far away from your life in America. The consequences can follow you home. The fourth reason is something that most people think only exists in movies or history books. But it is very much a real legal mechanism, and it is one of the most serious on this list. The fourth reason is committing treason against the United States. Treason is defined under U.S. law as levying war against the United States or giving aid and comfort to its enemies. It is one of the few crimes actually named in the U.S. Constitution. And while prosecutions for treason are rare, they are not unheard of. When someone is convicted of treason or related offenses such as seditious conspiracy, which means conspiring to overthrow the government, citizenship loss is one of the potential consequences that can follow. Now, here is why this matters beyond the obvious. In today's world, the definition of giving aid and comfort to enemies has become more complicated. With the rise of digital communication, online networks, and international organizations, ordinary people can find themselves connected to groups or movements that the government considers hostile. If you are ever involved in any organization, online or offline, that advocates for violence against the government, or that has been designated as a terrorist organization or enemy of the United States, you need to understand the legal exposure you are creating for yourself. This is not about political opinions. This is not about free speech. This is about actions and associations that cross a very specific legal line. Protect yourself by knowing where that line is. Now we have reached the fifth reason, and as I promised you at the beginning of this video, this is the one that catches the most people off guard. The fifth reason you can lose your U.S. citizenship is by voluntarily renouncing it yourself. And I know what you are thinking. Why would anyone do that? But the answer might surprise you. Every year, thousands of U.S. citizens formally give up their citizenship. Some do it because they have moved permanently to another country and no longer want the tax obligations that come with U.S. citizenship, which follows you around the world, no matter where you live. Some do it because they want to take up citizenship in a country that does not allow dual nationality. Some do it because of political or personal reasons, and some, tragically, do it without fully understanding what they are giving up. The process of renouncing U.S. citizenship is formal and official. It must be done in person at a U.S. embassy or consulate outside of the United States. There is paperwork, there is an interview, there are fees, and once it is done, it is almost impossible to undo. The government takes this process very seriously, and in most cases, renunciation is final. But here is the part that immigrants need to understand deeply. There are situations where people feel pressured to renounce, situations where family pressure, financial circumstances, or political instability in a home country creates a feeling that giving up U.S. citizenship is the only option. There are also situations where people sign documents they do not fully understand. And there are cases where someone claims they renounced citizenship without knowing what they were doing. The courts take a hard look at whether a renunciation was truly voluntary and fully informed. But by the time a legal challenge reaches that stage, enormous damage has already been done to a person's life. Do not let that be your story. If anyone, for any reason, is pressuring you to give up your U.S. citizenship, speak to an attorney immediately. You have rights, and you deserve to understand them fully before you make any decision that cannot be undone. Let us take a moment to bring all of this together because the big picture here is something that every immigrant and every naturalized citizen in this country needs to carry with them. Citizenship is powerful. It is precious. And yes, in specific circumstances, it can be taken away or given away. The 5 reasons we covered today are not theoretical. They are written into U.S. law. They have been enforced against real people. And they will continue to be enforced going forward, especially as the government continues to invest resources into reviewing the naturalization records of citizens across the country. Fraud and misrepresentation during the application process, serving in a foreign military against the United States, working for a foreign government and swearing loyalty to it, committing treason or working to overthrow the government, and voluntarily renouncing citizenship without fully understanding the consequences. These are the 5 doors through which citizenship can be lost. And now that you know what those doors look like, you have the power to make sure you never walk through any of them accidentally. Knowledge is protection. In the immigration world, what you do not know can absolutely hurt you. And that is exactly why this channel exists. Not to scare you. Not to make you feel unsafe in the country you have worked so hard to build your life in. But to make sure that you are walking forward with your eyes open and your future protected. If you found this video helpful, please share it right now with every immigrant you know. Share it with your family. Share it with friends who are going through the naturalization process. Share it with people who became citizens years ago and think they have nothing to worry about. Because the truth is, this information is relevant to all of them. And if you have questions about your specific situation, drop them in the comments below. Our community is here, and we read every single comment. Also, do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss an update from America Immigration Update. Your future in this country is worth protecting, and we are going to keep showing up to help you do exactly that.